Okay, so good day everyone. So this would be our next remaining topic sa aton nga Unit 3, which will be all about the somatosensory pathways, our subtopic 5. So we will go na sa aton nga pinaka-largest sensory system, which is all about touch and body sensation, aka your somatosensory pathways. So when we say somatosensation, it basically refers to the sensation of the body and its movement, no? And it includes discriminative touch, deep pressure, cold or warmth, pain, itch, tickle, position and movements of the joints. This is where your proprioception and haptic perception man reside, no? And we will talk all of this sa aton nga somatosensory pathway. So now we're gonna talk about the receptors na responsible for touch and body sensation, and these are your somatosensory receptors. Think of these receptors as specialized sensors in the skin. Each one detects a different kind of stimulus. So for the first one, we have your free nerve endings, or aka your pain receptors. So these are the simplest and most common receptors because they simply detect pain and temperature. And its key features is that they are cold-free, kay tungod nga they are not yet enclosed in any structure, just barely on the nerve endings in the skin. That's why the term is free nerve endings. For example, if you try to touch a hot pan, no, you will feel the sharpness of the burning pain, no, in your pain receptors, or even getting a paper cut, or just simply feeling burning or stinging, no. So whenever something is potentially harmful, your pain receptors or your free nerve endings are the first to respond. So that would be our first nga receptor. The second one is what we call Merkel nerve endings, no? So these receptors are slow adapting. It responds to pressure and detail. No? So meaning they continue firing as long as the stimulus is present, hence slow in adapting receptors. So their main function is for pressure, shape, no, knowing the shape, texture, and define details of the object. So it's mainly used to detect braille, no, or reading braille sa mga bulag, no, or feeling the edges of a coin, or holding a pen steadily. So these are important for precision touch nga ginatawag when you need to identify objects, no, without simply looking at it, no. Siya ning ga ga pahibalo sa imo kung ano ng shape, ano na ayan ang gakahikap mo, no, etc. So kumbaga si Merkel receptors help you answer the question nga ano blang ginakapitan ko, what am I touching, na? Number three, we have here your Meissner's corpuscles or Meissner's receptors, aka tactile corpuscles as well. So, unlike a Merkel nerve endings nga slow, these are fast adapting nga mga receptors, and it's mainly for light touch. So, kaya tungod nga rapidly adapting receptors sila, meaning they respond quickly but stop firing if the stimulus stay constant. So their main function is to detect light touch and movement across the skin. Mga very subtle nga changes sa skin. No? For example, your Meissner corpuscle will be the one that would detect no may subay nga galakat ba sa mga tiil, no may bug nga crawl dera, or the light brushing of the skin, for example, no? Or even detecting slippage when you're holding an object. Si Meissner corpuscle man na. So kumbaga, they help you no to adjust your grip so things don't fall, or they let you know no nga that there's something may nag impact sa imong skin, no? It's also the one that is responsible for you knowing black class nga for example, pag suksok mo sang relo, no, you will feel your relo nga do nakaangot si mo kamot, but eventually it will become part of your body somewhat, no, nga do you won't feel it na unless kung hikapon mo liwat ang relo mo, no, because again, your Meissner corpuscles are rapidly adapting, no. Kadasig sila magkuha sang stimulus but at the same time dasig mo sila mag-adapt ng mata-matula. Same with man magsuksok ka bayo, no? Pag suksok mo bayo, bilog mo nga lawas, maka-feel or bilog mo nga upper body nimo ma-feel mo nga magsuksok ka bayo. But eventually, your bayo will be part of yourself, no? Because your Meissner corpuscles are rapidly adapting. Kumbaga, si Meissner's receptors or corpuscle answers the question something is moving on my skin, no? It is the one that lets you know that something might be moving. For the next one, we have your Pacinian corpuscle or your Pacinian receptors. These are fast adapting, the same kay Meissner. Ang kinalain lang nila, ang kumbaga gina-find out, no? It's for vibration. And again, no, these are very fast adapting receptors, extremely sensitive towards vibration, and that's why their main function is to detect high frequency vibrations and rapid changes in pressure. So, paano na siya gamiton, no? Paano siya i-apply? It might be useful, no? Or, for example, feeling your phone vibrating sa imong nga bulsa, no? Nga may ga-call sa imo, it's partly because of your Pacinian corpuscle, no? Rabla naka-mute, just only vibration. Because of the understanding of nga may ara Pacinian corpuscle, they made that function, no? Sa inyong nga phone nga. You could mute it, but you could still feel the vibrations, no? Or even using a power drill or running your fingers over a rough surface. No? So they help detect surface textures indirectly through vibration. Unlike a Merkel nerve endings, siya nga kung ano gid ang fine details ang texture gid mabalaan. Yari they somewhat let you know kung ano ina based on sa vibrations. So kumbaga, si Pacinian corpuscle answers the question, is something vibrating? Ha? Nag-vibrate bala? And last but not least, we have your Ruffini endings. No, these are slow adapting, same kay Merkel. It's all about stretch and position. So their main functions, it's partly they contribute to finger position, movement control, and even grip stability. No? So na-mention ta kagina nga si Meissner's corpuscle, no, somewhat gabulig siya when it comes to taking a grip. Ang ginanamin da kay Meissner's is that mabalaan mo if daw manughulog na. Diyon si Ruffini endings naman ang ga-stabilize ang amo nga grip. Na kumbaga, I hope that makes sense. And going back to Ruffini endings, na for example, since nga they contribute to finger position, movement control, grip stability, for example, knowing how much to stretch your finger when you try to grab a basketball, for example, or knowing how to hold a cup without crushing it, no? Arbla magkapit ka itlog, no, nga firm pero dapat di mapusa na si Ruffini endings mo na adjusting hand position while writing na kung ano kataas or kanubuon para nami imo pagsulat, no, kinesthetic movement, kumbaga si Ruffini endings mada. So these are important for again kinesthetic sense, no, knowing body position. So kumbaga si Ruffini ending naman answers the question nga, how is my skin being stretched or positioned? So those are the 5 main, no, nga mga somatosensory receptors that are response or go towards inyong somatosensory cortex. And for you to have an easy way to remember them, no? For example, si free nerve endings is for pain and temperature, whereas si Merkel it's for pressure and fine detail, and slow siya, ya, no? Si Meissner naman dasig, pero it's all about light and touch and movement. Si Pacinian dasig man, pero it's solely for vibration. Si Ruffini is slow, but this time is for stretching and position. Sige. So for example, if mamangkot ko, which receptor helps you feel your phone vibrating in your pocket? So the correct answer here is Pacinian corpuscle. Sige. So ang muna sa itsura nila, class, oh. We have here your si pain receptor, ang muna tawag siya free nerve endings because hindi sa part sa isang structure, no, sa outside na portion. And then underneath there, you have your Merkel, Meissner, your Pacinian, and then your Ruffini endings. No? If you take a closer look, mo ng itsura nila. By the way, your Merkel's receptor sometimes called Merkel disc. No? And we have here the chart para mas makita nyo pagid na. Okay, now let's proceed towards tickle. No? So, the sensation of tickle daw is poorly understood. So, ang pamangkot rin nga, hindi tama itik aton own nga sarili, no? So, the reason we cannot tickle ourselves that our brain compares the resulting stimulation to the expected stimulation and generates a weaker somatosensory response. So, Nga hindi ta kuno ma-take ulaton sarili, it's partly because your brain predicts the sensations or response is reduced. So this certainly is an example of sort of a bottom-up versus top-down processing in the somatosenses that if you understand and expect a stimulus, you're not going to get that tickle response. Though pareho siya bala sa startle response, nga hindi mo pwede kibuton yung mga kagalingon. Kaya nga aman, gina-expect mo na nga kibuton mo imo sarili, no, in the conscious level. If that makes sense. Somatosensation in the central nervous system. So, how does somatosensation works? No, we know that there are several receptors sa aton nga skin, no, and paano na siya mag-go towards sa aton nga brain. So, information from touch receptors in the head enters the cranial nervous system through the cranial nerves. And then information naman from receptors below the head enters the spinal cord and travel through the 31 spinal nerves to the brain. Kumbaga, if halin sa face ang signal, it will go towards the 12 cranial nerves. If halin naman sa body ang signal, no, then it might go sa 31 nga spinal nerves. And there are two pathways naman from skin to cortex, no? So there are two different pathways. First of which is your medial lemniscal pathway and then your spinothalamic pathway. So the medial lemniscal pathway are large fibers that carries no signals related to proprioception and perceiving touch. No, kumbaga touch and position si medial lemniscal, no? So your medial lemniscal pathway is going to be things like, for example, if you caught a ball or if you notice that you caught it and you feel it in your hand, no? That would be an example of your medial lemniscal pathway. Or for example, if you're reaching your pocket, no, and you're trying to find your keys. So, damo-damo, may panyo ka da, may mga sensilyo ka, kinanan mo kuhaon ng mga keys. Uh, and then through your different receptor types, no, through your Merkel receptors, you would know nga anong shape ka key, and then you will know nga mo na nga konyabe, no. So that's going to be your medial lemniscal pathway, no. Tanan nga signal sa mga examples ko nag-aagi to tanan kay medial lemniscal pathway. Si spinothalamic naman are small fibers that partly transmit, no, pain and temperature. So si medial is all about touch position, si spinothalamic is all about pain and temperature. No? So si spinothalamic pathway is going to include if you touch something hot be or if you touch something sharp or if you've gotten ginstab ka da be or naterohan ka, any of those sort of things, no? Ang pathway nga kagtuan niya na in order for you to acknowledge nga you touch something hot, no? You have been stabbed or etc. That's partly towards kay spinothalamic pathway naman. And dire na di kasulod ang reflex arc to lang nga tawag ta last time sa atong prelim, no? Dire mo na di agi sa spinothalamic. So this have two different properties because they have two different function, no? So the medial lemniscal pathway is going to interact much more directly with your motor cortex, whereas the spinothalamic pathway transmit temperature and pain naman, pag si mga brain. And here we have the various aspects of body sensations remain separate all the way to the cortex, no? So, kumbaga, ang namin lang naman is that different body parts map no to different areas in the brain, and damage to these parts might lead to loss of sensation, no? So, number one, various areas of the somatosensory thalamus send impulses to different areas of the somatosensory cortex located in the parietal lobe, no? And then, after na, no, there are different sub-areas of the somatosensory cortex, no, which responds to different areas of the body. That in turn, kung may damage sa mga sa aton nga somatosensory cortex, it could result in the impairment of body perception, no? Nga, for example, sa somatoparaphrenia nga ginatawag to last time, no? So the perception of hindi na mo kamot, or ang isa to bla, if you could remember sa aton nga klase, ang ginatawag ta nga alien hand syndrome, which is a rare medical condition that people with this syndrome gonna lose control of one of their hands, no? Nga ba? Sila gumalaw yung kademonyuhan ng kamay ko. No? So, kumbaga, their minds can no longer give the alien hand kuno abi directions. And that's partly because it might have a problem or damage sa one of the, or maybe sa entirety ng somatosensory cortex, no? Sige. Next, let's talk about sensitivity and touch. So first, let's talk about sensitivity. How are sensitive are we to mechanical pressure, no? So we can traditionally measure it with what we call nga von Frey hairs, which was created by Max von Frey back in 1852 to 1932. And doon muna sa nga tsura ya class, no? So ano ni siyang von Frey hair, no? There, amo sa nga tsura ya class ako sa picture. Let me draw. Hindi po ko draw. Na siya na. Ari, it is a camel hair, no? Kumbaga buhok ka camel inside the tube, and various levels of pressure are applied. And calculations made based on how much the hair is bent during the examination. So this is where you would know nga different parts of the body no has different sensitivity based on the pressure na that would be applied during the trials, no? So for example, na balaan nila nga different body parts varies through when it comes to their sensitivity. For example, ang face ko nung pinaka most sensitive, and then our hands, and then our arms, and then it goes on. So kumbaga, ang pinaka-sensitive ko na when it comes to sense of touch is our face. That's why nga kung may pimple ka you would really feel it, or if there's something crawling, you would feel it. And then the next one would be our hands and arms, no? That's why nga kung panit-panit na wala kamot, no? Di ba? Mabutsagan nyo din nga dok sakit-sakit, no? Because kadako sang receptor yeah, when it comes to, ay kadako sa sensitivity sang receptor when it comes to your hands. And I have here a video. I hope nga mabatian lang ini. No? So let me play this one. This is how they would conduct no the Max von Frey hairs no in order to perceive the sensitivity of the pressure or touch. So I'm gonna mute my mic and I'm gonna play this.
This protocol is significant because it allows researchers to easily assess point pressure sensation on the midline tongue, giving us insights into each individual's sensory profile.
This technique can be performed anywhere using simple portable equipment. These devices are easy to use and easy to clean, and are also relatively time and cost efficient.
The purpose of using this technique is to understand how point pressure sensation changes across the adult lifespan, because disorders can cause changes, but so can age and lifestyle choices.
We use this method to assess oral sensation in relation to food preferences and eating behavior, but it could also be used to study speech clarity and swallowing disorders.
Demonstrating the procedure will be Jen Brodock and Molly Higgins, graduate students at Penn State.
To set up the experiment, place the monofilaments with the indicated target forces onto a table so that each target level can be easily read. And seat the participant in a comfortable chair with a glass of water within arm's reach. Then, instruct the participant that during the experiment, they will be asked to close their eyes and stick out their tongue, and that they are encouraged to take a sip of water every 5 to 10 trials or after the first incorrect response. To perform a detection threshold estimate, inform the participant that they will hear trial 1 and trial 2, and feel a point of pressure on the tongue during one of the trials. If the participant thinks they feel a point of pressure in trial.
Okay, so amo na sa paano nila conduct ang Max von Frey hair. So sa amot sa ila tong case no, they've conducted it in the tactile sensations ang aton nga tongue no, which allows them to know which part of the tongue ang mas sensitive or kung anong purpose sa ila experiment eh. Okay, now let's talk about acuity naman or touch acuity. So how do we measure it? No, so there are two things. We measure it via 2-point threshold or grating acuity. So the smaller the distance equals the higher the sensitivity. So let's talk about 2-point threshold. No, so this would be the acuity, no, or the minimum separation needed between 2 points as to perceive them as 2 units. No, so for example, no, so let's just focus on the example A. As you can see here, as you can see here, if tuslokon ka kuno kadagom birdo amo na no, sa amo ni nga point, would you feel it as one dagom or duwa ka dagom? So that would be the acuity, no, ang kumbaga gina-test naton kung ano kalawak ang ma-detect sa aton nga receptor. That's touch acuity. No, kay kung for example, if you would feel ang duwa ka dagom as one dagom lang, then maybe amo ni kadako ng receptor. So idugon ni bing arebe, idugon niya di sa kilid. And sang ginidog na di sa kilid, yun diri naman ginigo kag diri. Then instead nga ma-feel nga isa na lang kadagom, no, the participant might feel nga duwa na to kadagom ang gin tuslok sa akon. So kumbaga gina-test nila kung ano kadako ng receptor, no, by having this what we call 2-point threshold. Because in some cases, no, or in some parts of your body, if tuslokon ng duwa ni kadagom blaklas no, diri nga area, sometimes if we don't look at it, no, and the experimenter would say, pila kadagong tuslok ko. Isa ang iban ko nagambal isang, sa gambal iban duwa. That's partly because of the acuity or the threshold no sang aton nga receptor sa atong skin. And the other one is grating acuity. So amo ni siyang sa second part mo sa being example, which placing a groove stimulus on the skin and asking the participant to indicate orientation of the grating. So for example, ano ning texture ya? Is it a flat square nga surface, or is it bumpy, or is it rocky, no? Something like that. Dira naman na siya sa grating acuity. And it is said here that when it comes to the mechanism of the receptor, it is directly related to density of the Merkel receptor. So it is greatest kuno in the fingertips because it is densely packed with Merkel receptors similar to cones in the fovea, no? So hambal dere mas dako kuno ang ang acuity kag sensitivity naton sa aton nga fingertips. That's partly because it is densely packed no, with Merkel receptors. So the more receptors equals, the more better sensitivity. So your fingertips is like your fovea, no, or your retina, because it's densely packed with cones. Hence, dara na da laban gina bend ang light or gina accommodate, no. So both 2-point thresholds and grating acuity study shows this result. And then meron man tayong ginatawag nga cortical magnification, no? Which basically the same man sa aton nga mata, if you could still remember, that body areas with high acuity have also larger areas of cortical tissue devoted to them. Now, areas with more cortex are more sensitive. This parallels the magnification factor seen in the visual cortex for the cones in the fovea. Kumbaga, more brain area equals more sensitivity. Same concept as vision, no? So as you can see here, your mean threshold for your fingers, no, is gamay lang. So gamay lang kinanlan nila nga touch, mabatyaga na din nila. That's why nga taas ang sensitivity. Rather than i-compare nyo sa cuff nyo, areo, ang bilog. Dribble lang apart nga area, no? Kamo na akong kaysa abla nga maghampang tas ang gamay ta, or even today nga adults na ta maglakat tabi sa gwa, no? May pilas ta dira dampi sa cuff or sa thighs, for example, kaya ang thighs ta dako-dako man, no, ang yang threshold for it to receive, no, a sense of touch. Kumbaga, kung may ulitan nagakabalaan may pilas tada no sa thigh naton sa cuff. Kung for example pagkabuas na magligo tabi or kung manibi na ta magabi dira may pilas ko di gali wala ko nakabatsyag yaman. That's partly because nga dako-dako ang kinanlan niya nga threshold no in order for it to feel something. If hindi mo pagfokusan, hindi mo man mabalaan, no? Hindi mo makita, hindi mo man mabalaan. Unlike sa fingers, na for example, no? Gamay lang nga splinter, da sa kamot, tas sakit-sakit, no? Ba't siya ganta din? That's partly because nga, dako ang yang, gamay ya mean threshold, therefore, mas dako ya sensitivity, no? There is what we call the cortical magnification. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now let's proceed to perceiving objects, no? So we've talked about proprioception, no, which is the our perception of the three-dimensional perspective sa aton nga lawas, for example. And when we say haptic perception naman, it's the perception of three-dimensional objects via touching naman, no? So recognizing objects through touch. Use three systems for this process. Your sensory, your motor, your cognitive, no? So kumbaga ginasimpon ta ni aton capability to see, aton capability to move our motor system, and our capability to interpret it, our cognitive system. So all of this systems, no, are required, no, in order for us to perceive what we call yung haptic perception. Okay, now let's proceed towards pain perception. So pain has sensory component and emotional component. The sensory component of pain are, for example, it's throbbing, no? It's prickly, it's hot, it's dull. Whereas ang affective component or emotional component naman would be kasabad, no? Annoying, sickening, frightful, no? So those would be the two components. That's why it is multimodal, no? Magambal ta sa pain. And then we have here the anatomy of pain. First of which we have here nociceptive pain, which it's a kind of pain, no, that serves as a warning to damage to the skin, and it has several receptor types. So amo ni siya class na. You could take a look at sa next natin nga slide. The first one is all about the nociceptive pain, skin oriented, no? So this kind of pain serves as a warning kuno to damage of the skin cell. And as you can see mo siya receptor type. For heat, ara man siya, no? It will respond and it will send its signal pag to spinal cord. Spine, since nga we're talking about pain or temperature, na makagto siya sa spinothalamic pathway, pag to sa spinal cord, and then eventually sa aton nga brain, pag to sa somatosensory cortex. Even chemicals, no? Such as capsaicin sa inyong mga sili, no? Na it is not heat but rather chemical, no? In the form of capsaicin. When the chemical would bind to your skin, it will send a signal through the spinothalamic pathway along the spinal cord back to the brain, and that in turn will make you feel, no, there's something in your skin, no. That's why it warns your brain, no, that there might be damages. Pressure, for example, if gisumbag ka, no, or ginampak ka da sang hammer, for example, sa aton di, that could also be no, a warning, no, sa aton nga brain. Even cold, no, too much cold can also damage the skin as well. So all of this with the along with its different receptor types, no, is what we call nga nociceptive pain. Sige. Next, we have your inflammatory pain. This one naman damages to tissues. These are the kind of pain that are inflammatory in nature because it has something to do with the tissue naman or joints oriented. For example, may ga-inflame yung mga liver, no, ga-inflame yung mga joint, or you have a cut, no? For example, you have a cut sa mga finger or sa skin. Next is neuropathic pain. So, amo ni siyang pinakasakit ko nga pain hambal nila class, no? Because it has something to do with your nervous system oriented naman. For example, carpal tunnel syndrome, no? Spinal cord injury, or even thalamic stroke, no? Kung nagka-stroke ka because of your thalamus. So, those are the three kinds of pain. First, nociceptive, then inflammatory, and then neuropathic. Kung pilas mo gani kamot mo inflammatory na or na-slice mo bala, nakita mo na, oh. Per mega anong akon nga mga students gasala, they would name it as nociceptive. Anyways, so pain perception, we have your cognitive and experiential aspects, no? how do we perceive pain, no? That has something to do with expectation, that knowing what to expect can reduce pain. This has something to do with placebo effects man, no? So, the more tis nga gina-expect ako nung pain, the more tis man mas ma-lessen nato, no? Um, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Next, attention. So, shift attention away from pain reduces pain, no? So, if we try to put our attention aside, no? Especially when we try to nagpa-injection mula, 'di ba? Mga nakulbaan da sa magpa-injection, hinambalan kamo sang nurse, no? Nga lantaw tublas sa kilid or mambal na sila istorya-istoryahon kanila para gulpihon diyon nila, no? Because the moment you shift your attention away, it somewhat kuno reduces pain man or pain perception kumbaga. And then emotional distraction, no? So, positive distraction results in reductions of pain, no? So, again, do ka attentional, ano mo siya, pero it's more on the emotional ng aspect, no? Since nga, uh, for example, if you're in pain ko, no, and you try to think of happy thoughts, physical pain ang ginanamin ko, it might somewhat reconstruct ko, no, your pain perception. Kumbaga, buhinan ko, no, ang aton nga paglantaw sa amo na nga pain. So what example can I give you? For example, sa ako nga friend, no, nga nagpatato for the first time. Inupod sila namon. And in order for him ko no nga madula ang pain, gapanomdom siya sa mga happy thoughts kag mga sadya nga mga series ko nang ginlantaw yoy para ko naman minimize ko ng pain. Kay I think sa din niya to ganay, basta sa dughan niya, then dok sakit-sakit na ako nung part tatuan. Then para ko nung makaya ako nung pain kang hindi sa moyan sa mga amigo ya tamon. Gina-distract yung sarili, ginano yung attention at the same time may emotional distraction pagid siya, no? Tugo panumdum siya sa mga sadya nga mga TV series, you know, pero sa mga mabatuan niya, no, ang perception niya when it comes to his head. Anyways, and number 4 would be individual differences, no? So each of us has different pain thresholds, no? Ga-factor gid yung individual differences when it comes to pain perception. And then let's proceed toward the relieving of pain, no? How do we relieve pain? Via analgesia. This includes your opioids, endorphins, even placebo, no? So opioids mechanisms or system, they're sensitive to opioid drugs and similar chemicals, no? So opioids bind to receptors, no? And opiates naman on the other hand are mu receptors, no, found mostly in the spinal cord and the periaqueductal gray area of the midbrain. So kumbaga magambal ta. Okay, tapuson na lang tanan din explain ta. Si endorphins naman on the other hand are your natural painkillers, no? These are the group of chemicals that attach to the same brain receptors as morphine. So si endorphins, neurotransmitter ni sa class, no? This is usually the ones that gagwa or gatuhaw every time we finish exercise or going to the gym or running, no? Kakapoy pero somewhat nga do ka fulfilling, do ka nami, do ka euphoric ang feeling. It's partly because of your neurotransmitter ng endorphins. Okay? So endorphins are what we call endogenous. That is, they are internally generated, no? Kumbaga within sila ka-generate. Whereas opiates naman are exogenous. Exo meaning sagwa. As they are given from the outside and then presented to the body's internal environment from the outside in through pills, injection, etc. Now, kumbaga si endorphins, siya ni ang endogenous or within, no? Nga part of our body that would act, no, as a painkillers, natural painkillers kumbaga, hence the term endo. Magambal ta endogenous within us, exogenous outside. Whereas si opiates naman exogenous, no, kumbaga nga-act out man as the same kay endorphins pero kumbaga synthetic siya in nature, and at the same time it could be delivered from the inside, from the outside via mga bulong, injection, pills, etc. And opioid naman is the mechanism, no, or the system that are sensitive to opioid drugs and similar chemicals. Different types of endorphins for different types of pain. And before we go further, let's move to one of the most important concepts when it comes to pain. Now, this is the gate control theory of pain. So the main idea here is that this theory, class, proposes that pain signals are not always directly sent to the brain. They can be modulated or even blocked at the spinal cord levels. Na? Kumbaga, it's not always direct na ang ilang signals. Pwede mo siya ma-modulate, pwede mo siya punggan sa spinal cord pa lang. I-block. So, what might be the mechanism of or the explanation na sang amosin eh? So, in the spinal cord, particularly in the dorsal horn, neurons receives input from the pain receptors, there are nociceptors, no touch receptors, ang mga Merkel nito, signals descending from the brain. So, kumbaga, it's not just one pathway, no? There's competition happening. Kay hindi lang isa no ang ginakuha ni spinal cord nga mga receptors. Ang iban halin sa pain receptors, ang iban halin sa touch receptors, ang iban halin pa sa utok nga receptors no ang ginakuha sa neuron. So kumbaga there's a competition. And the gate concept, no? Think of it like a gate. Kung ang gate mag-abre, pain signals go through. Hence you feel pain. Pero kung siradaan tang gate, ano naman ang signal, no? Pain signals are reduced or even it could even be blocked. So ang pamangkot, how does the gate close? So the gate can be closed by touch input. For example, rubbing the painful area, no? Amo nambal nila kung may pilas kada kaluton mo kunong palibot. Syempre hindi man ang lapit-lapit gid sa gapula pa sa punta lang, no? Because descending signals from the brain might cause an interference, no? That is gate theory. Or another example might be shifting your expectation, shifting your attention, shifting your emotions, no? That could mean you could somewhat block the signals, no? Because you're trying to receive a different what do you call this? For example, happy thoughts and then ga-feel ka daya pain, no? You're trying ginabunggo mo sila bala. Kumbaga ginabarado mong gate, no? And the other thing, no, the gate can be closed or can be interfere via the release of endorphins, which is the natural painkillers of the body. So ang point there is that non-pain stimuli can modify pain, meaning touch, pressure, even psychological factors such as manumdum ka sa mga happy thoughts mo, no, can reduce pain perception. Na? So, amo na siyang gate theory. So, let me give you an example why is it relevance ng gate theory. For example, when you accidentally hit your elbow, what do you do technically, di ba? Ginarab naton ang part nga nabunggo, no? Nga because touch signals helps close the gate and reduce pain. Or kung bagarab lang gisakit aton tiyan, di ba? Or dumamus tabi sakit-sakit nga tiyan or gakutoy din yung tiyan, di ba? Ginarab niyo yung nga tiyan? Why do we do that as human beings? No, is it because of reflex? No, it has an application, no, specifically in neuroscience, no, just sa ginambal natin nga gate theory because we try to reduce the pain via closing the gate, no, or kumbaga i-block tanga mo nga gate. So when the gate is open, butlangan ta other signals around it in order to interfere, no, with the pain that we are trying to feel. So to wrap this up, no, just remember that in gate theory, pain is not just physical; it's modulated. You can modulate it, and the spinal cord acts like a gatekeeper, and the brain can influence that gate. No, so pain signals can be blocked via touch. Of course, no. When we say pain signals can be blocked, touch signals can reduce pain. No, via touching the surface around it, via thinking about happy thoughts, etc. No? So I hope that makes sense. So anong key ideas ang ginatawag tayong gate theory? No, so as you can see here, how does it interferes no with the substance be inside? For example, sa aton nga picture, we have your enkephalins here, which is your endorphins, no? So this would be the signal, no, the neuron that would send, no, pagdo sa inyong cortex. So before mo pa ma-perceive ang pain, amo na siya ang pain afferent. Kumbaga, alin sa pain receptor niya be. So before siya kuno magkadto kay neurons, si endorphin, no, nga neurotransmitter mahaboy na nga daan dere sa substance P, meaning inyo pain receptors. Before pa mag-ula si pain receptors ang iyaman nga signals, no? Kumbaga gin-interfere na nga daan ni endorphins. That's why it is called as a natural painkiller. And those painkiller nga opium based, no, like your nga mga opiates, amo man ay lagi na himo, no, in order for you to relieve pain or pagamayo ng pain. Amo na siya, class. Nakatabo dara. Sige, so again, enkephalins block pain signals in the spinal cord. Endorphins are thought to block pain principally at the brainstem. So both are morphine-like substances whose functions are similar to those of opium-based drugs. Today, the word endorphin is used generically to describe both groups of painkillers. So here we have another, ways to relieve pain via the periaqueductal gray area. So aside from the spinal cord, the brain itself actively controls the pain. So one key area here is the periaqueductal gray matter or the PUG, no? Sa inyong midbrain, if you could still remember ning amunang area. So the PUG or PAG plays a major role in suppressing pain signals. So how does this work? So when activated, the PAG sends signals down to the spinal cord, which triggers its release of endorphins. And these endorphins inhibit pain transmission, essentially turn down pain signals, no? So important concept here, class, is that pain is not just going upward or body to brain. There are also descending pathways, which is from brain to spinal cords, no? And this can reduce or block pain, no? What do I mean by that? No, hindi lang pakadto sa utok ang pwede mo blokan. Pwede mo man blokan ang from brain pagto sa spinal cord nga message para mas mapabuhinan tapagid ang pain perceptions ng tao. This is why in extreme situations, ang mga soldiers in battle, no, or aton nga mga athletes, no, during competition, they may not feel pain immediately because the brain is actively suppressing it via the periaqueductal gray matter. Arab lang fight or flight na ginahambal niya na si periaqueductal na mag-release ang endorphins. Kita na sa ang mga gata kong lime na kisab lang gadulugo na ilalawas pero di sila Japong kabatsyag, no, sa sakit. Pero eventually after na sa away, batsyagan na nila sakit. During fight or flight, no, your periaqueductal gray area will release, no, those endorphins in order for it to minimize the pain. So, ang ginapahiwatig lang na din, di lang upward, no, from the spinal cord pagto sa brain, ang imo i-block, pwede mo man ma-block ang from brain to spinal cord because your brain itself also produces this what we call endorphins. Okay, now let's proceed towards another ng mga jargons here when it comes to relieving pain. Well, one of which is your placebo. So magambal ta placebo, it's a drug or other procedure with no pharmacological effect. It decreases the brain emotional response to pain perception, not the sensation itself, no? So I think kabalo naman ka magambal ta siguro placebo, no? Blang wala siya pharmacological effect, pero why is it nga gabuin ang sakit sa ulo mo? That's partly because of the emotional response na of your brain when it comes to perception. Amo naging cut off niya. For example, sakit ulo mo, ginom ka biogesic. After 30 minutes, ambal malah, dula na sakit ulo or mayo, ganyang biogesic, yeah. Pero kabalo ka, class, ng biogesic would be diluted na no, and will be released the analgesic properties sa mga parts ng mga different parts of your body. mga 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours pa na before mo ma-feel ang effect. Placebo effect lang na mabatyagan nyo din after 30 minutes, no? It's not the bulong, but rather it's your emotional response towards the pain. Amo na gani class nga ba nila every 4 hours mo imnon, di ba? Because amo pa na nga part nga mag-affect pa lang ang bulong. Kay after 3 to 4 hours again, ang gininom mo nga after 4 hours, ma-dilute pa na liwat. That's how medication works, no? So kung the next time you would drink about the biogesic, hindi pa na din mag-effect. Unless kung ibuprofen, lain naman na yung klase. Fast acting na siya, 30 minutes ma-feel mo na diyon ang madula sakit ulo mo. So there are different types of painkillers man as we've known today. Same with naproxen, no? Non-steroidal ng mga painkillers, lain naman na yung properties. So, naglayo na ko sa akong istorya pero amo na siyang placebo class, no? Maginom ta kis biogesic, wala pa man 4 hours or 3 hours, 30 minutes pa lang gani, feel mo na dula na din ang sakit ulo. That's just simply placebo. The next one is cannabinoids, no? Cannabinoids are chemicals, no, that relates to marijuana and could also be seen, no, sa marijuana that can block certain kinds of pain, no? So it acts mainly in the periphery of the body, no? Mga the periphery outside nga parts, no, sa aton nga lawas. That's why nga there's a lot of researches when it comes to marijuana, no, that would be used, no, as a painkiller or even its other properties, no. Just so happen nga kadamo bitaw nga ginano sa used for recreational purposes. That's why nga naging illegal siya, no. But kanami ni tan isang sang marijuana, no, as a pharmaceutical nga usage, ya bala, since nga it has a lot of implication. At the same time, while saying that, no, kasi mambal ka mo pro ko sa mo na kadamo man side effects, no, that could really hinder it. That's why nga it needs to be studied pa before it could be used as a medicinal nga property, no. When you say periphery of the body, I think sa mga hindi lang ko sure, sa carpal tunnel, I think it could also help, no? And sa mga neuropathic bala nga mga kind of pain, I think cannabinoids can really be used to treat it, no? To lessen the pain. It's been a long time since I've read about this kind of side no sang neuroscience. But if I'm not mistaken, cannabinoids could be used, no, sa mga neuropathic na mga pain. And then last but not the least, we have your capsaicin, which is the one that produces a temporary burning sensation followed by a longer period of decreased pain. No? So si capsaicin, no, is the chemical that could be seen man sa aton nga mga sili, sa aton nga mga mga kaitan na mga muna bilaklas. Kumbaga this would be the sensation that you would feel. Amo na nga kung magkaon ka something hot, no? Kung galingin bala ulo mo, na makaon ka samyang be. Di ba kang kahang na? But eventually, after sang kahang mag-die down, magbalas ka na, matamat dula man ng sakit sa ulo mo. It's partly because of the capsaicin nga chemical sa mga chili. That's why chili is an active nung painkiller man or kumbaga do ka bulong man siya, no? Because it acts in a way nga do ka analgesic siya man sa. Okay, now let's proceed towards agonist versus antagonist, no? So now we move to the pharmacology side, no, of the opioids, no, or opiates, which is very important for understanding pain treatment. So take this moment, no, sa dirito nga part sa somatosenses as a introductionary, no, sa aton nga finals. So, may ginatawag ta nga agonist kag antagonist or agonist versus antagonist. So, an agonist is a drug that has affinity. Magamba ta affinity, it can bind to the receptor and has efficacy which then activates the receptor. So, kumbaga, in order for it to, to produce a biological response, no? So, kumbaga, think of it like this, no? The receptor, kumbaga, is a lock and the antagonist is a key, no, or yabi na siya, which fits the lock and at the same time opens the door. So I hope na gets lang, no? So si agonist has affinity and has efficacy, meaning sa affinity, no, it fits the lock, and efficacy, it activates the receptor, it opens the door. Now, antagonist naman on the other hand, no, has affinity, which mean it binds tsaktuwa ng yabi, but no efficacy. It does not activate, no? It just simply blocks the receptor. So kung gamiton tang same nga analogy kagina sa antagonist, the antagonist fits into the lock but does not open it. No, it just prevents the real key from entering. No, kumbaga kaigo siya sa lock, no? Pero hindi amabrihan. Ang iya purpose lang gid, it is there to block it from the real key para hindi mabrihan ng amo ng receptor. I hope that makes sense, no? So the important part here is that si agonist activates the receptor, the antagonist blocks it. Sige. So here we have, no? So let's some of the opioid analgesics, no, let's try to apply that, no, to painkillers ng mga drug, no. First, we have here mga agonists ng mga painkillers. So again, mga magta-agonist, no, these are any substances that has affinity for the mu receptor and exert same effects as morphine. No, it has both affinity and efficacy, no. So some of it's drugs, no. We have here are morphine, heroin, diluted, Demerol, fentanyl, oxycodone, and codeine. So, kumbaga, this mimics endorphins, which is the body's natural painkillers, no? And the clinical insight here is that these drugs are very effective. Very effective to the point na kaya nila i-mimic ang endorphins, no? But then again, very effective in a sense nga, it can also be highly addictive. Since nga, ang baltabay, importante kung mag-exercise ka, you feel that euphoric state, di ba? After you did your exercise, no? More of these endorphins, no, could also lead to be highly addictive, man, no? Because they strongly activate the reward system in your body. So, imagine, no, hindi ka na mag-exercise pero you would feel that same euphoric state, no? After mag-exercise. That's why nga ginatun-an ni siya ng opioid side of things. So that's why some of these examples here that we have sa ating screen tend to be abused, no? I don't know lang if the prevalence in the Philippines is that huge, no, or to have an impact, but in other countries, no, especially on the early 2000s, kada mo tao nga naging addictive, no, sa mga amo nga substances. And most of them hindi man nila hungod, no. For example, that's partly because nga may injury sila and ang ilang ginatag nga substance, no, or drug, no, para to reduce the pain is opiate in nature. Therefore, kinahanglan nila i-take. Then eventually after nasang pilas, ginsige po nila inom kito kanami kung nasa feeling. Nagsugod ang addiction, no? Okay, next. Let's proceed to partial agonists. Now, partial agonists is somewhat different, no? They bind to the receptor but produce only a limited effect, no? Example is your buprenorphine, no? Which is important and useful because this kind of drugs, no, are useful because they are less risk to have an overdose, and it is usually used in addiction treatment, no? And then we also have your what we call nga Suboxone, no, which contains buprenorphine as well, which is a partial agonist, and at the same time naloxone, which is an pure antagonist, no? So this combination will help, no, to reduce cravings That's why nga importante man sa buprenorphine kay gina-usar siya sa mga withdrawal symptoms bala. Aron kay ang kinahanglan nila to have this substance maski gamay lang kay kung hindi they will act out, no? They might have another symptoms nga galinger. That's why the term is withdrawal symptoms. So, thanks to buprenorphine, they could have those cravings satisfied. At the same time, partial lang siya, no? Na hindi siya buong buo for them to reduce lang. And then, thanks to Suboxone, no? Since it includes buprenorphine plus naloxone, the naloxone portion naman, which is a pure antagonist, will help to prevent abuse, no? So as you can see, partial agonistic na mga drugs such as buprenorphine are very essential, especially in treating withdrawal symptoms and the like. And in combination with Suboxone, no, it could really help, no, to prevent the uh, withdrawal aspect, no, of a person who is currently in a rehab. No? And then we also have mixed agonists and antagonists. No? So these drugs activate some receptors and block others. Hence the name agonist antagonist. Duwa kabilog. No? So they bind to opioid receptors, especially kappa, and they can cause analgesic properties, no? If the person is non-opioid dependent. Meaning, hindi siya addict bala sa opioid or hindi siya addict sa endorphins, no? It might produce a normal lang analgesia which is good man, no, in a sense nga it is both agonistic and antagonistic, no? At mayroon siya pros and cons rather than sa normal lang. Some of it mas cheaper siya sa price, some of it because mas dasig sa mag-take effect at the same time dasig mo sa madula, it doesn't linger, no? Pero galing ang cons niya naman no, sa amo nga bulong is just that nga if ang mag-usar sini is opioid dependent naman such as ang mga dasig dasig lang or mera na affinity when it comes to opiates, no, dasig sila ka-addict no, sa amo nga chemical, it might precipitate withdrawal naman nga symptoms, no, or it can trigger withdrawal symptoms. So that might be the pros and cons ni mixed agonist antagonist nga kind of drug. And last but not the least, we also have your pure antagonist, no? Has affinity, especially the mu receptors, but is devoid of morphine action. Na kumbaga, may affinity siya, kaigo siya sa lock, pero it does not produce air spot, it does not open the door. It's simply there for it, para to prevent no, or to block ang mga iban nga mga lock, no? So, one of which ang endorsed na sa inyo kagina, which is your naloxone or Narcan, which are pure antagonists. It is used to or for overdose reversal. No, it kicks opioid off the receptors. No, mo na siya uh, mag-work siya kumbaga. And we also have naltrexone, which is mga brand yung Revia, Trexan, Vivitrol, no. So that would be the scientific names ang drug, no? Ang sa left side and sa right side, those are the branded ng mga names. How does it work, no? Why is it nga it prevents overdose? It's because nga they kick, no, the opioids off the receptor. Kumbaga gina-kick nilang yabi nga naka-insert nga daan nga gapaandar sa mo ng receptor kag sila mabulos. Therefore, hindi na siya maabrihan no mo nang apertahan. That's how the pure antagonistic ng mga drugs ka himo. And may man ta no classification of commonly used opiates. So this would be the table no for it. So as you can see there may sa agonist, antagonist na. So may strong bagid, intermediate kag weak. The traditional there as you can see the mga strong from morphine up to sa fentanyl. Intermediate we have buprenorphine and weak we have codeine. No? So far, no, just a quick reminder, no, sa aton lecture, no, a little bit of summary. So, hambal sa gate theory kagina, pain can be controlled at multiple levels via spinal cord, no, gate theory, and not all pain can be controlled sa spinal cord. Ngara man sa periaqueductal gray area, no, which is ang PAG or PAG. And drugs, no, or opioids, can work as an agonist or antagonist. Agonist, mga agonist activating the receptor, antagonist naman on the other hand blocking them. So these are some of the major pharmacological effects of opiates, no? Why is it nga uh, why is it nga addictive sa iba ng mga tao? Why is it nga prominent nila ginostar? Because not only na it produces analgesia, which is acts as a painkiller, no? It also provides a euphoric sensation, no? That's why ganyan ba ko sa inyo nga ang feeling na bla akong tapos mag-exercise nga do kanami sa feeling na. That's the euphoric sensation of endorphins. And then it also depresses the respiration, no? It suppresses cough, no? That's why some of the cough syrups may lakot na nga opiates, no? But I think it's not common in today's standards, but still, no? Ginausar na siya sa una. Even up till today, may ara man na gyapon. Sedation and anxiolysis, meaning napakalmaya ka, no? So for those nga mga very anxious type being a personality, the very first time they would take opiate, that would be an indicating factor, no, that they would use it again because it is a calming effect. Not only that, it can also cause nausea, dumasuka ka, or vomiting, no? Gastrointestinal symptoms, papillary constriction, no? Wala nag-dilate, mga balta constrict, di ba? Gagamay. And endocrine effects as well. So these are some of the major pharmacological effects of opiates. Please, take note na lang, no? Okay, now let's move to an important concept in pain, which is the sensitization of pain, no? Which refers when the nervous system becomes more sensitive to pain over time. No, amo na siya magambalta sensitization of pain, no? It basically refers to when the nervous system, our nervous system, becomes more sensitive to pain over time. Meaning, a stimulus that was not painful before can now become painful, or mildly painful stimuli become more intense. Okay, so there are two main types of sensitization. But before we go there, let's first explain, no, how ano na siya ang gina-release, no, sa lawas every time we have a damaged or inflamed tissue. So damaged or inflamed tissue releases histamine, which are nerve growth factor and other chemicals that increases the responses of nearby pain receptors. So certain receptors become potentiated after an intense barrage of painful stimuli, leads to increased sensitivity or chronic pain later. Now, so every time ko na maguba ko naton nga tissue, it will release histamine, no? Which ang histamine tamo man na, di ba, sa aton allergy, no? Later on i-discuss ta man na. And this is where sensitization occurs, no? When certain receptor become potentiated after intense barrage of painful stimuli. Siyempre damo pain receptors nga ga-act out, no, sa amo nga area, which will lead to sensitivity or chronic pain later on. So there are two types of sensitization. We have your peripheral sensitization and central sensitization. So let's break them down. So tandaan nyo, this happens at the level of the receptors nga ginatawag na nociceptor. Okay? So, di ba tatlo to? Inflammatory nga pain, nociceptive pain, and your neuropathic. So, this all happens at the level of nociceptive. So, for example, when you get a wound or inflammation, what happens? No? Damaged tissues release chemicals like histamine and even prostaglandins, no? And these chemicals no make pain receptors more sensitive. So, subong, kung napilas ka na, even light touch near the injury can feel painful. That's why your skin feels tender after being hurt. No? And this happens in the spinal cord and the brain. And the idea here is that the neurons that process pain become overactive. No? Naging overactive siya. Therefore, repeated pain signals equals to stronger response over time. So, kumbaga, your brain learns the pain. Anong result? Anong resulta? The pain persists even after the injury is gone, and this is common in chronic pain condition. So, kumbaga, you can think of sensitization like this. No? For example, the volume knob of pain is turned up, and even small signals, no, sound very loud to the brain, no? Maski gamay lang gid ang pain nga signal, for example, gamatamat siya dako. Kay syempre, perme mo na siya gakabatyagan, something like that. So that's how pain will lead to a chronic state, no? Nga eventually, ah, gadugay ang pain, kumbaga. Sige. Now let's proceed to gender differences in pain perception. So, in terms of pain perception, no, we talk about individual differences a little bit a while ago, no? So, there are differences when it comes to pain perception, especially kung laki ka or bae ka daw. So it says here nga women are more likely to seek treatment for pain and have greater diagnosis of chronic pain. So mga babae ko no are more likely to seek no for medical help or magpa-clinic or mag-inom bulong or magpa-check up kaysa lalaki. Para sa mga lalaki siguro pawayan lang na no. Not all but statistically speaking amo na ko no dere sa book. And in some experimental studies, women have lower pain threshold, no? So, magambal ta nubo ila pain threshold meaning gamay lang nga kind of sakit mabatyagan na diyon nila. If that makes sense. Kung nubo ang threshold mas ma-feel nila kumbaga. And pain thresholds nor influenced by endogenous hormones. No, so magambal ta endogenous hormones, those hormones that are present inside, no, that are made inside, such as your endorphins and kepalins, no, and even those hormones during kung ara inyo chan, no, kung pregnant ka mo, etc. And this said here that pain sensitivity decreases late in pregnancy. So nga mo na aw. It's partly because your body is trying to prepare it during childbirth, no? Sa mga babae bala. So, at first few months ko, no, ang pain threshold do the same lang gyapon. And eventually, it will decrease, no, during late pregnancy, mag third trimester na. Why? Because your body is now preparing it for child delivery, na? And number two, pain sensitivity varies across the menstrual cycle with higher pain tolerance during the follicular phase. So it is said here no nga during the menstrual period, the menstrual cycle ko no, gavari man ko ng ang sensitivity of pain sa mga girls no. With higher pain tolerance no, especially during the follicular phase no, during the phase nga mas ano sila mas fertile baga. And men naman on the other hand may have a larger response to endogenous endorphins. Na it is said here nga mas dako ko ng response ko no sa mga lalaki when it comes to endogenous nga endorphins kaysa opiates. That's partly one of the reasons why nga kita niyo mga lalaki na mian gid mag-exercise na mian mag-gym no. Kaysa babae kita nga gusto nila padako lawas etc. kanami sa feeling. Because we men no tend to react more sa endogenous endorphins, which are the endorphins is made no inside our body. So mo lang man na siya sa gender differences. And last but not the least, finally no, the last concept of our somatosensation is itch. Now, itch might seem simple, no, but neurologically, it's actually very interesting. So let's first talk about histamine and itch. The first point here. So the release of histamines by the skin produces this what we call nga itching sensation. So what does that mean? So when your skin is irritated, like for example, kagat ka da ka mosquito or nag-allergies ka or may rashes ka da, your body releases a chemical na ginatawag nga histamine, no? And this chemical activates specific receptors in your skin. And then that's what creates this what we call nga itching sensation. So nakabati na ka muna sang bulong nga si Terezen, kita the antihistamine. That's basically the drug is basically ginatabunan yung lock, no? It's an antagonistic nga drug when it comes to histamine. Kaya ginatabunan niya lang lock, therefore you would not feel the itching sensation na. Next, the distinct pathway, no? So, it activates a distinct pathway in the spinal cord to the brain. So, even though itch is related to pain, it actually has its own pathway. Meaning, ang utok ta maka-distinguish nga ay kalam na siya, hindi niya sakit, no? This is itch, not pain. But the important detail here, class, is that it has a slow transmission. So, impulses travel slowly, about half a meter per second. And that actually very slow, class, kumparar nyo sa pain signals. No? About half a meter versus milliseconds, no? Something like that. So, kumbaga, it's much slower, more lingering, and harder to ignore sometimes. Now, let's go towards the pain and itch relationship. Nga ginastoryantan ni sila doa. This is the most important concept nga daan nga nabilo nga again included this itch because pain and itch have an inhibitory relationship, meaning they suppress each other. That's why when you scratch, which creates mild pain, the itch temporarily goes away. Nagets nyo, class? Di ba kung katol, ginakalot nyo? Kung mag-scratch ka mo, you create some sort of mild pain. And because of that mild pain, the itch will temporarily go away. So, ano ning implication niya? Meaning, the pain can block itch signals. Okay? Okay. So, manambal nila nung sa gate theory, man to bla kagina nga kung sakit imo nga for example parts sa imo nga panit be no sa kamot be katulon mong surrounding areas. Because again, they are inhibitory in nature, no? So, kumbaga they suppress each other or vice versa kung kalam naman, 'di ba? Yung kagat ka da, ang kagat na todos mo pagid, no? Para magsakit, para madula ang katol, no? That's why it works as such, no? And to the last part, no? Drugs and itch. Kumbaga, opiates increase itch while antihistamine decreases itch. And this is very important, clinically speaking, no? Because opiates like morphine might reduce pain, but can actually increase itching. No? That would be the side effect. And whereas antihistamine, parehas ang cetirizine, may block histamine, so they reduce itch. That's why antihistamines are used for allergies, skin irritation, etc. Na? So, ang punto lang da kung mag-inom ka sa mga opiate na drugs such as your morphine, yes, it might be might reduce pain, no? But on the other hand, though, it can actually increase the itching sensation. So, pero kung mag-inom ka naman antihistamines, this one naman, it's to be specifically reduce itch. That's why it is used, no, for allergies, skin irritation, or even mga small mga bites, no. So to summarize, no, itch is caused mainly by histamine. It has its own slow pathway, no, so separate siya sa pain, and pain can suppress itch, and drugs affect them differently. Na? Okay, so to end, no, let me tanay pamangkot sa inyo face to face. So, ang pamangkot ko tani, why do you think scratching feels good at first but can make things worse later? No, nga sa tingin nyo, class kanami, magkalot kablaw na sang katol kanami sa feeling. Pero kung sige-sige yun, mas na magdugay, do it makes things worse. Mas nagkatol pagid, mas nagdamo kurit ang mga panit, etc. No? So, I'll just leave it there na lang ako mag face-to-face na plakadlaw. Sukton nyo lang ko. Okay, so that ends our somatosensory pathway. The next pathway that I will record now will be your olfactory and then the subtopic 7 and 8. Bye-bye.